everyone, it's Tart here, arty tarty and ready to party, and I'm so glad to be at Silver Pride this year. It's such a fabulous event, raising so much great money for a fabulous cause, and I'm really glad today to be painting my face for you. So, I'm not typically an MUA, but I'm a club kid, art clown, and it'll be an interesting little watch for you because some of my makeup techniques are a bit conventional, some you'll be like, what are you doing? But that's the point. Have a little fun, have a little laugh if you want. I always have a great time when I'm getting my makeup on, and sometimes I laugh at the mistakes I make, and you will too. But today I'm going to do a little sort of neon fantasy. So it's a bit of hot pink, bit of lime green, and you'll see what I'm doing very soon. I've got a lovely jacket for the end. So let's get started. And first off, I'm going to put a little wig cap on. Now this wig cap has seen some things. I tell you, it's very, very dirty, but it's not got any holes in, it's reliable, and you know what? If you're a drag queen, you're on a budget, that's for sure. So I'm going to put this on. I mean, I've no real hair at the moment because I've just had a haircut, but it's always necessary to put it on so you don't get your hair in it. And also it kind of like gives a nice little line of where to stop. So here we are, like Uncle Fester right now. And then first off, I'm going to do the typical drag queen technique of gluing down my eyebrows. So I whack absolutely loads of glue on them. Some people comb them through, but mine are generally quite straight. I'm quite fortunate in that sense. It's the only thing that's straight about me, to be fair. So I whack these down, put absolutely loads and loads and loads of glue on it. So as you can see, I'm going to absolute town with it, especially because I want to make sure that these are covered over. So if you're not familiar with drag queen makeup techniques, the reason why we glue down our eyebrows is so we can paint a new one above it, because boy brows are usually a lot lower. So I cover it over and then paint along the top part there, which you'll see later on. And then once I've done that, I get my powder brush, and people use powder, I use talcum powder. So I just put it into here. It's a nice little amount. I usually get it all over my clothes when I start doing this. And then I pat it all over this eyebrow. Doesn't matter where it goes because at the end of the day, it's going to get brushed off. So the reason we powder is so you can set the eyebrow and get a nice solid base on here. I love how I'm talking about this like I know what I'm really doing. I'm not a makeup artist, but this is the technique that I do. And it's a lot of fun. So I leave that to set. And whilst I'm doing that, I get some eyeshadow primer. Just put onto my finger and dot onto my eye. So this makes the eyeshadow go onto my eyes a lot more easily. And there you have it. Bit of primer like that, really, really cheap. And then whilst I wait for these eyebrows to set, I usually start on my base just to save a little bit more time. My makeup usually takes me about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, depending on the detail. But sometimes it can take more, it can take less, just depends how fast I have to do it. But I like to take my time, and today I'm taking my time to treat you all. I'll tell you that right now. I use Maroon Clown White, which is a really, really thick grease paint base. I use a beauty blender to put it on because when you pat it on, it really gets it into the skin and means it's really nice, even coverage. And you can see on there how thick that is and also how dirty that beauty blender is. Oh my God. Really should have cleaned stuff before this, but never mind, Tart is a bit of a mess. So once I've got a load of that on my beauty blender, I start putting it all over my face, streamlining it on. So right now, obviously, there's no blend to it. It's just covering the actual base, and I'll pat it down once I get it on my face. And I cover over everywhere, apart from the eyebrow area, because I'm still waiting for that to set a little bit more. So get it all over the eyes as well, because most of my face is actually painted with eyeshadow, which is probably quite unconventional. I think it is very unconventional, but with eyeshadow, you don't get that wetness. It's nice and dry. It goes onto my face really well. And the palette I have is a really, really strong pigment. So it gets fabulous colours. And of course, I'm making the most colourful colours on my face for you today, Silver Pride. I'll tell you that right now. So I've got a bit of my base on now, and I'm just going all over here, and I'll pat it down in a moment. So by now, the eyebrows should have set. I'm probably jinxing myself here, so I'll brush a bit of the powder off, just so it's a bit more even. And then, this is one of my favorite parts when it works really, really well. So I get a load of the grease paint and I smear it all over the eyebrow, and that covers it down. And I pat it down so it disappears a bit. So as you can see there, it's starting to disappear. And then I pat it down a little bit just so to definitely block it off. And I go to town with the other one as well. That one's a lot stronger coverage, so you don't need to pad that down as much. But as you can see, the actual base I use is very, very thick. So it's quite nice to use to cover the eyebrows down. And there we have it. So I'll just pad this down a little bit more. And then start to get into the eye a little bit as well. Brilliant, there we go. Nice and blocked. So I don't usually go all the way up to the wig line because I wear a nice sort of beret or a nice hat or something like that. So Pop-Tart's not a wig queen. I used to wear wigs, but they looked like I found them in a bargain bin and they were awful. They were so, so bad. I had no idea what I was doing. So out of sheer branding and possibly sheer laziness too, I decided to just wear hats, turbans, berets, you name it, pillbox hats, and it's become a staple in my drag, and I would not change it. I mean, I'd wear a good wig if I got on Drag Race or something, but I'm not aiming for that here. So there we are. That's nice and padded down. So now I go around the face and beat this in. So the Beauty Blender really gets the foundation into the skin. I say foundation, this is literally clown makeup, but it's my foundation. It's looking a bit scary at the moment, but trust and believe it will look much more fabulous as I get more things on. It is never fully complete for me until I put the eyelashes on, which is right at the end. So you'll have to keep watching, won't you? So this one here, I'm just putting a bit more on, covering the eyebrows down a little bit more. There we go. Making sure I get these nostrils and the nose. There's nothing worse than putting it all on and putting all the detail on and then suddenly seeing that you've got a really big bit of unblended base. But this base is nice and easy to work with because it's not water-based. I mean, a lot of the actual products I use sometimes at the body paint is water-based, but I use it in finer little bits rather than across my whole face because otherwise I either sweat it off or it just doesn't get as thick a coverage, whereas this grease paint, this Meron Clown White, is absolutely fantastic. Some people only use Clown White around the eyes to get a cut crease, whereas I use it on my entire face. So it's an interesting choice, a bold choice, but a choice I am happy to make nonetheless. So I'll just go around a little bit more just to make sure that it is nice and covered. And I think we're nearly there. And I go around like lightning, like, wow! It's a lot of fun doing this. I love painting my face. So sometimes as well, I do paint my neck, but on this look, I don't need to because I kind of want to have the sort of the clown face sort of separation here, kind of like the illusion. And you'll see what I mean as the look comes together. So that these cover the eyebrows a little bit more. So they're relatively covered and you just need to keep putting more and more on. And they'll set in. Cool. There we go. So I've put the base on. There's a few little bits I'm just gonna touch up. So the eyebrow coverage just needs a little bit more glue and a little bit more base on just to cover it over a little bit more strongly before I set it. So that hopefully will be okay. It will be okay, don't you worry. So I'll set some parts of it whilst it's doing that. So I'll set the bottom part just so it's ready to be painted on. A few more little bits on the nose. I'm just going to cover over some under the eyes. There we go. And then I think as long as I going to cover it over with some of the Clown White, blend in anywhere and stick in. I try not to put too much Clown White on just because it gets a little bit kind of gungy and gluey, which of course when you put so much glue in your eyebrows is inevitable. So we have it. And a little bit more on the nose just to make sure that's all covered. Up here, there we go. Tell you what, bold lighting sometimes you think, oh dear, but that is what editing is for. And there we have it. So see, that's nice and even coverage there. A bit more on here. And put this, I'm using talcum powder to set it now. I'll come back to it anyway if I want to touch it up. It should be nice and even now. And there we have it. So the first thing I usually do just to kind of get the heavy details out of the way so I can kind of be lightening, especially if I'm in a bit of a rush, is the eyes. So I'm using a water drag palette. It's absolutely amazing. The pigment is brilliant. I like to do kind of like the lime green first, just because I use the same brush. I use one side for kind of one color and one side for the other color. And the lime green, it'll take a little bit longer. It's not as dark, obviously. So I get that on first. So the kind of look I'm going to try and achieve today, and I will achieve it, is I'm going to have one side lime green, one side hot pink on all around it, and then the headpiece is a lime green beret and a nice hot pink jacket. So we start by sculpting round this eye with lime green. Getting a nice shape. This lime green is really nice and strong as well. There we go, and I kind of pad it in. It takes a bit of time to pad in this sort of colour, but it is absolutely worth it. So I'll just pause to see. You can see the green there. It's a nice colour. It's a very strong pigment. You can always tell a really good palette by how good the neons are, like the really light colours, and the green is just so good in this palette. So keep painting here. What I do love about this look is you kind of get the nice even bit at the top, and then you don't have to worry about being really even at the bottom. I like doing little prongs at the bottom. So I'll take it down a notch, kind of give it some spokes. I love doing a little tear eye. And I'll go around this in black later on just to make it pop even more. No pun intended, because my name is Pop Tart. There we have it, going around. It's looking nice so far. I cake a lot of eyeshadow on. And I mean, I've had this palette for quite a while, to be fair. I'm surprised how long it's lasted, because I absolutely cake on a lot of eyeshadow. Most of my face is eyeshadow. So, and if the spokes are a little uneven, it doesn't matter, because it goes round and gives that really arty effect anyway. I can paint onto the eye here. Now I'm going a little unconventional with the way I kind of am painting today. So usually I do both the eyes and kind of get all that detail out the way first, but because obviously I'm doing kind of opposing colors, I have to kind of like go around with the light color and then the sort of dark color. Makeup is definitely difficult. I mean, when I first started out, I didn't really know what I was doing with makeup like many drag queens. I mean, I still kind of don't. But I'm no makeup artist. I just have a good time just putting some eyeshadow on and having a good time. And I've learned a lot, and it's always good to learn from other people as well. And I've learned a lot from my dear sisters, part of a lovely drag family who always support everything I do. They also read me, which is exactly what you want from a family. You want them to insult you slightly, but in a nice way, you know. Always in a nice way. Okay, so I'm going to do the lips next. So I'm going to do an opposing lip around here. So got a nice shape on here. Yep, I do everything with eyeshadow, including my lips. So just because it's a little easier to apply everything, as I mentioned before, because it's drier, and if it's a nice pigment, it's always good. I'm going to be talking like I can't move my mouth. Do you ever try that trick when you try and sort of talk and you try and not move your mouth like a ventriloquist dummy? I mean, I move my lips still. So, there we go. I love doing a nice lip like this. My favourite part of drag makeup is the lip, actually. Love doing a crazy shape. So get that out a little bit. Looks like I've had some Monster Energy drink at the moment, but trust me, it'll come together. It's all about trusting the process. Absolutely. There's been many a time where I've not necessarily known what I want to do with my look, but I've just trusted the process, been experimental, and it's worked out really well. So, and when I did this makeup before, because this is one of my favorite looks, it was very experimental, but that's sometimes the beauty of it all, when you get something that's really crazy, doesn't like it's going to work, and it works really, really well. And I love a neon color. Absolutely love a neon color. I love doing absolutely loads of different ones like blues, pinks, reds, and green. I mean, I know Michelle Visage hates green, but I absolutely love the color green. If I ever went on Drag Race, you'd hate me because I probably wear it a fair bit. Let's go around that a little bit more. And basically, it's just making sure that there's no gaps when it comes to the color. And building out the lips. Again, I will be outlining this, so it's going to be a little bit bolder. But these are the main two parts where I'm going to use the lime green. I'm also going to use lime green on the contour, which I will do later on. Here we go. I think we're all good for the lime green. Just going to go over the eyes a little bit more. There we have it. Cool. So I've done the lime green parts now, as you can see. Looking a little bit like Kiss at the moment. Kiss if that's some Skittles. And I'm now going to move on to my second favourite colour of all time, which is hot pink. My favourite colour is silver, and that's mainly because of the Ukrainian Eurovision entrant Berka Serduchka. I absolutely love the colour silver. It is just such a fabulous colour. I mean, it's a little tacky, but aren't we all a little tacky? Especially me. So I'm basically going to repeat the same process, but this time with hot pink. So I'm going to do a little bit of shape on the eye, and as you can see, you get a lot bolder colour. It's a lot easier to paint with. So this won't take as much time to get the right pigment. And again, because we're doing kind of like a tear effect, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's really, really even length, just as long as we feel the fantasy, and that's the main thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, you can see sort of coming together a bit. It's very much neon horror clown in a way. I mean, I'm part of a drag house which is called the House of Hex, and we're kind of like very Halloweeny. And I always thought, well, I'm not spooky enough, I don't think, for it, but I think I'm kind of spooky in my own way, definitely. Aren't we all a bit spooky in our own way? No, spooky and kooky, definitely. Again, it's not a look where it has to be hugely even if it's a drip eye, and that's kind of the beauty of being able to do drag makeup in your own way, is that you don't necessarily have to be the most perfect drag makeup. It's all about how you express yourself, and you know, I'm always happy with the way I express myself, apart from those early days when I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing more now, but at the same time, it's always a venture into the unknown when it comes to drag makeup, because you try new things, you try new techniques. There we have it. So as you can see, I've kind of gone for a really sort of like punky kind of look, neon punk. Probably a really good album name, actually. And I do the same here with the lips. So I'm going to get them the same shape, just on the opposite side. As you can see, it's like a contrast effect. In the same shape. I find the colours pop a lot more when you get the black on it, because it really brings it all together. When I notice bits, I just jump around a little bit sometimes because I'm not kimchi. I go, oh, that little bit has a bit missing, and I keep just adding more on. Add more and more eyeshadow in, because you can never have too much eyeshadow. Well, I mean, you probably can, but I ignore the rule. I love a lot of eyeshadow. There we have it. I'm looking like a sweet and a pick and mix right now, and I absolutely love that because I have a real sweet tooth, I'll tell you that. So I'm just going to do a little bit of contour before I start doing any more extra details. So get a load of that on. I'm just going to do a little patch test first before anything, because I use a lot of different brushes with a lot of different colours. I've done a little patch test just to make sure the brush doesn't bring any other colours forward, and it's fine. It will keep the green that I want. So to get the contour and get it right around the cheekbones, I suck my face in, like, you know how sometimes you jerk and they do it like that, like make your lips really small and like best little lips. So I press them in so I can see my cheekbones a bit more, because I don't know if I have a good jaw structure or not. I've never really hazarded at if I have one or not. I just try my best and have pizza at buffet and have a good time, to be quite honest with you, Hans. So I'm just going to do like a short contour, because I don't really want to take it loads into the face. I kind of want to just have that little shape there. Just it gives a bit of illusion of having cheekbones, and just bring it up to the sideburn. As you can see, there's probably a little bit of colour from a different thing, but it doesn't matter too much. It darkens it off a little bit, which we kind of need for this lighter colour anyway. So it's fine. A little bit of contour there. So it kind of brings it in a little bit, makes it a little bit kind of more, you know. And I'll also do that underneath the neck as well, just to kind of like chisel a little bit of structure. I also always start at the left-hand side whenever I'm doing anything, because if it goes wrong, it's easier to correct, because the right-hand side, I can do a lot better because I'm right-handed. The left-hand side, I can just kind of like work on and just try and match with the right-hand side. So if you get what I mean, it balances that out. So if I'm making a mistake with the left-hand side, I can just emulate that on the right-hand side more easily. There we go. And you can see that it kind of brings the face in a lot more. Once they get the kind of jaw area sorted as well, it'll have that nice illusion. There we have it. That's the second part done of that. So now I'm going to put a bit more work into the eye area. There's this lovely silver eyeshadow called Pearl, which is this one here, and I'm going to put a bit more detail on sort of the tear duct area of my eyes, just to make it shine a little bit more and give a bit more dimension. So I just put it right in the corner of each one. As you may be able to tell as well, the eyebrows are kind of popping through a little bit, and it just happens sometimes. But the beauty of my eyebrows is that I paint a lot of black on them, so it will cover over that. It might just be a little bit lower than planned. So these things always happen. Oh, that's such a lovely colour, and that gives a nice sort of like dimension to it. So you can see on there, closer, it gives a nice shine to it, and especially on the hot pink, really brings it through. So I do the same on this side. Oh, beautiful. And this is why silver is my favourite colour. This is why you've got to trust the process, because sometimes when you sort of first start, you think, oh gosh, am I doing the right direction? But I am liking this a lot so far. It is lovely. And once I get the black around the outlines, it's going to look 10 times better. I used to not wear eyelashes at all. Now I wear big paper ones that I glue on, which I will do later. I always do them last because that's kind of the final part of really transforming into Pop-Tart. There we go, that's lovely. So that's kind of the pearl there. I also put a little bit on my lips just to make it shine a bit more. So as you can see there, it gives it a little bit of extra dimension. See, when you see them getting ready on RuPaul's Drag Race, it always looks like, oh, they're doing it so perfectly. But there'll be plenty of moments, I'm sure, where they mess it up or start bits again. I mean, they are like the top of the game. I do this for a little bit of fun. And I have a great time, and I love doing makeup. It's such a great way to just express yourselves and do all sorts of amazing things. And it's a constant learning thing, isn't it? Like, it's like everything we do. We learn to express ourselves in different ways and learn better ways of expressing ourselves as well. I always think is lovely. Little mantra, put it on a t-shirt, I tell you. So the next part I'm going to do, because I've done all the colour bits now and all the kind of like the shapes and everything, is outline in black. So the outlining will make it really pop. It'll give it a nice bit more shape to the lips, to the eyes, and obviously kind of a bit more detail around the eyes as well, because I do eyeliner with it. So I line everything with a bit of black body paint. So this is Snazaroo. It's very cheap. You can get it off Amazon for like £3 or something like that. And this trusty pot has lasted me a very long time. I probably got a friend to kind of give me this, or if they let me borrow it, I probably stole it, but you know, here we are. Don't put it in, actually. So I bought this legitimately off Amazon.co.uk, and it works really well. I try not to use too much water because it's water-based and it makes it really runny otherwise if you use too much water. So I use a tiny bit of water and really get in the colour. So you'll be able to see now as I work around very carefully, because once you have black on, that's it. So as you can see, before you couldn't really see this colour as well, but now, because even that little bit of black has really brought it out. This is why I outline literally everything. And obviously with black, I mean, I just try and get the basic shape around there and just correct it afterwards if I need to, which is a given. Because I mean, with any line work, it takes time. Even the best sort of like steadiest hands and steadiest makeup artists, they have to kind of go on. I'm definitely not. My hands are okay steady, but I kind of like hold my hand like that so I don't shake a bit and make sure it just keeps straight. Lovely. Okay. So whilst I'm here as well, just because I started on my left, as I said earlier, I like to start on my left just because if I kind of mess up on my left, I can kind of try and balance it out on the right-hand side. And fingers crossed I'm doing okay so far. So I'm going to loop around underneath the eye and do one side and kind of do like a little bit of a winged liner, but not really. It's like, it's hardly Top Gun when it comes to wings, but it's winged enough for my eyes. So as you can see, it kind of gives a bit of dimension there, brings all of the eyeliner in. And I can't just do the sort of silver bit on one side, the black on the other side. It's kind of a nice crossover, I find. Look at me talking as if I know what I'm doing. Isn't that lovely? The good thing about the top part is if it's not as even as the bottom part, it's covered up by eyelashes anyway, and my eyelashes are absolutely humongous. Never used to wear them, and in all honesty, I don't police drag in any way. I have no right to, but eyelashes I feel a must when it comes to bringing out a look sometimes. Not always. Sometimes you don't have to wear them. I feel like they are really a good way to kind of bring a look together. And I mean, there's plenty of occasions where I don't wear lashes, but there's also much more occasions where I do wear them now, just because they're just so fun to wear and they just make the look so camp. And I just love it. Plus, the lashes I use are made of construction paper, so they're really solid. And then we have it, there's the eyeliner done. So as you can see, kind of like the comparison of the both sides with the outline looks like a lot more kind of like graphic and much more kind of stronger. So I do that for both sides, and I'll do it for the lip as well. So I'm going to do the same thing again as I did on the other eyeliner and bring it round to like a little Cleopatra. I said winged eyeliner before, but it's definitely more of a sort of a Cleopatra eye, I'd say, in terms of shape. I mean, that's probably an insult to Cleopatra, to be quite honest with you, but it is what it is. Oh, lovely. So that one's a bit more winged. So that's the thing. If you make kind of like little bits of mistakes like this, you can just bring it round. And I'm going to do that with the other eye. And that's the thing with drag makeup. There's plenty of mistakes made. But it's just how you rectify them. I love the fact I've done like a perfect wing shape there as well. And the other side, I was like, no, I won't do a wing shape. So we're going to go back and do a bit more wing on the other side in a moment. I used to be a little bit nervous about painting on the eye in case I got it in there, but you just got to kind of go with it and roll with it. It's the same with eyelashes. I used to be really nervous about putting them on. But sometimes you just got to roll with it, loves. Fight the fear and all that. There you go, that's nice. Like that. So there's not too much to kind of like move around here. It's just kind of lengthening it a little bit. And to be fair, it's a little bit uneven anyway. So it's always good to kind of go back on the work and just adjust. The beauty of Club Kid makeup is you don't have to necessarily be perfect. And that's what I like, because I try my best to kind of get it as even as I can. But it's nice to have a little bit of messy, a little bit of grit. And I love that. So the Club Kid movement was a huge art movement in sort of like the late 80s into the early 90s in New York. And it's inspired by modern art, people like Andy Warhol, and it's audacious, amazing costumes and makeup. And I just loved it. I just love that side of things. And that's why I do the makeup I do, because it's the way I want to express myself, because I love art and modern art. And where I'm at the moment, Leeds is really, really vibrant, and there's a lot of brilliant artistic things going on. And I just love being here. And Silver Pride is also the same thing. I feel like it is a really great way to express yourself. It covers so many different walks of life and so many different parts of the community. And it's just such a fabulous cause. So if you've got a spare penny, a spare pound, a spare £100, if you donate, because it helps so many people. And it's just such a fabulous, fabulous cause. And I'm so proud to be involved with it once again. So now I'm going to go around the lips, which is kind of like the final part of the outlines, and then I'll move on to my eyebrows. So I will just loop around. So as you can see, I've brought it together with the outlines. It's nice and big and bold. You can see the shine here and the shine in the eyes, and it just all comes together so lovely. And oh, I'm loving it. I'm feeling myself today, I'll tell you that right now. So I'm going to do the eyebrows now. So when I do the eyebrows, I kind of go along the sort of the top edge of it, because as you can see, I've covered it over. You can't see my original boy eyebrows. I go over the top kind of ridge of it to give a little bit of a gap between where I've done the outline of the eye makeup and where the eyebrow is, just to give it that bit more dimension. Ooh. It always looks really funny when it's just one eyebrow. There you have it, there's the eyebrows. So I used to do really thick slug eyebrows, like really, really thick. But I like to do kind of like a thin sort of cabaret style eyebrows. So I've just noticed I've missed the ears off. So I want to give them a bit of a green just so it kind of matches the rest of the look. It doesn't look so ridiculously foreign to all of it, because you got all this big makeup here and then my big lug ears there. And again, I think I've got quite small ears actually. So now we're going to glue on the eyelashes. Now, I'm not going to reveal what product I use for this, because it is not recommended for your eyes. And to put it this way, it's basically should be used on fabrics. But, these are the risks we take. So I'm just going to put a little bit on, and I'll show you these eyelashes. So these are my eyelashes that I wear. They're a little bit dirty, but I use them for months at a time, and I make them out of construction paper. So I literally just draw a little outline and then cut them out and then stick them on my eyes, and they give a little bit of length. And there you have it. There's one of them. So I'm just going to bring up a little bit just because it's hooding the eye a little bit. And there we have it. There's one. It looks so crazy when you have one and not the other. So I'm going to quickly get the other one on. And there we go. So that's the mug done. Pretty happy with that. So usually I'd like to paint for the back of the room. Today I'm painting definitely for the front of it. A bit like a Monet and better at a distance, but you know, I think it's looking pretty cute. So I'm gonna get changed into the actual outfit now, and you can see the look come together. So here it is, the final look. I told you it would be really neon and really sort of nice and bright. So I've got a lime green beret, a nice hot pink jacket, and of course the contrasting makeup. So I really hope you enjoyed watching me paint today. I always have a great time painting makeup, and it's such a fabulous, fabulous time to paint for Silver Pride UK. So please, please, please support them. You can visit their website at silverprideuk.com. You can donate there, see what other fabulous events they're on, because there's absolutely loads of them, and I cannot wait to see what everybody does. And it's been an absolute honour to be part of this today. And if you want to follow me on social media, my Instagram and Twitter is PopTartQueenXO, so you can see more of these arty-tarty and ready-to-party looks. I've been Pop-Tart, and it's been absolutely fabulous to be part of this, and have a great rest of Silver Pride, everyone. Lots of love. Bye!